Yeah.
Hey, bro, congratulations to every single one of y'all who played. Hey,
Take off the glasses.
hey, congratulations. Throw it up, throw it up. Hey, he went from
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
he went from first place 1 week to, hey, shout out to the
Yeah, I like that one.
shout out to putting on for Team C4. Put it there, bro. Put it there, bro. First place winner, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Hey,
Had to get humbled real quick.
hey,
You know
tell
what I'm
the
saying?
channel, bro. Tell the channel.
You know, I thought I had the best deck in the game, but you know, third place will work for me.
That's it. Alright, guys, we got first place OTS. I can't even say much, bro, about it. This man won with what you play, bro?
We got Dragon Link Adventure.
Dragon Link Adventure went first. What you go? 4-0?
4-0.
What all the decks you play today?
Sorry. We need to start that again. I didn't hear you.
What all you play today?
What I played today? Alright, so we got, well, for the Rocket Engine, I mean, it's the core of Dragon Link, but at the same time, there are a couple cards you obviously don't want to draw.
Of course.
You got Rocket Tracer at 2. I think 3 is excessive. I mean, if you're playing 3, I think in the late game you're going to lose anyway. With its effect, you can't summon itself off itself, obviously. So then we got the one-ups for it. We got the Rocket Synchron, and then we got the Recharger, obviously. Recharger has a lot of utility in its effect as well, but its main thing is being summoned off the Tracer to summon a level 8, which you're probably going to go into Chaos Ruler or go into a Savage, obviously. And then we got the one of Abstrider to send off a Dragon Serene to, you know, add Tracer.
Of course.
That's it for the main monsters for the Rocket Engine. Coming back to that engine later. Then we got the Chaos Engine. Obviously, you just run the one-ups, Chaos Babies. Insane. I mean, it chain blocks all your effects if you have to go for the normal Dragon Link line. Chain blocks for Striker Dragon and Romulus as well, especially if you have Chaos Space. I mean, that's just a free draw in itself as long as you search. So that. Then we got a one-of. We got a few one-ups here. Black Metal. The old engine used to run this at 3. I didn't see it coming up as much, but that's just because you didn't have the Adventure Engine and you cut this down to make room for the Adventure Engine. Also, you don't need more revenue or anything. I mean, it's good, but I mean, if you're going for this play just for the old Dragon Link board, you're probably losing in the first place, unfortunately. But it's, these are just good to extend if you have a normal summon. Destrudo, amazing extender, shelves itself back into the deck as well after you summon it. Pay half your life, but in this game, 1 life point points, it doesn't
What of it, right?
I did it earlier, going 10 minutes left into time, and I won that turn just because I had that extra extender going to help.
Right.
Next up, we have the monsters for the Red Roses. Summing this off Halleck, you know what it does. I mean, with the SAD engine, does the same thing with Dragon Link, except we don't cycle. We go into Baron, into Shooting Riser, and we dump Snow. But also because it turns Shooting Riser into a level 4 lower monster, you can go into Striker Dragon with it, you can go Misty with it, and make better plays with it. And these cards are just always the same. Obviously, you don't really want to draw it all that much. I mean, the only one you want to draw this engine is the Red Rose. But it's still insane nonetheless, especially if you have it in the deck for Hulk and it resolves. I mean, you can just almost win. It turns your 50-50 matchup into like a 65-35.
Okay.
At most. Obviously, like I said, the Snow. Insane card, probably should be banned again. Specifically in this deck, you have a bunch of just random spells in the graveyard. You have your hand traps that you send off the Chaos Ruler, so they're just free banishes. Usually, I have like 7 summons with Snow to book. Cards busted, always will be busted unless it gets an errata, which I don't think it will.
Best card in the game.
Now on to hand traps. We got 3 Ash Blossom. I mean, a lot of people are saying cut Ash Blossom, but at the same time, starter's a thing. Starter's literally a 1-card combo for Splight, and if you have the extra hand trap for like a Ghost Ogre and an Ash, it's basically an FTK against that deck.
Right.
Go to your turn, you still have 3 cards in hand plus a draw, make it 4.
Right.
I like that one.
So good. 3 DD Crow. You've seen every deck profile on YouTube right now is running this. I mean,
Best hand trap in the game.
literally shuts down 2 element plays, shuts down the Frog engine for Slight. does all the things you need, and it's just a generic thing to also get rid of traps for Eldritch,
Right.
all this other stuff. Just an insane card overall. Then we got 3 Effect Veiler. I think Effect Veiler is just generally a good card. I mean, it's just good in every format. The only thing it's not that great against this tier in this format, which, I mean, playing that's why you got the DD Crow for the most part. Also, one thing you got to realize in this deck specifically is you need a lot of light targets, and the fact that this is a light tuner means you can normal summon this as an extension to go into Hout. This is also a light that you can banish off of Chaos Ruler and Collapse Serpent to go into your regular plays. I've done it a lot where I didn't even need to use it, but I would just Veiler whenever they have into their main 2, and then on my turn I know I have Collapse Serpent in hand, so I can just go with my plays.
That's what's up.
But obviously, that's just less reward if you need to.
Right.
But it's whatever. 2 Ghost Ogre. The only deck it's really amazing against right now is Splite for the Gigantic.
Alright, keep going.
Alright, and that's it for the hand trap lineup. Now, I mean, this, you know it. This deck has to play it just because it's amazing extension. Also, it's just a free Omni Negate. You got the Adventure Engine. This is falling out of favor, obviously, with all the decks that don't need to play it. And since they're the best decks and don't need to play it, then a lot of people are cutting it. But this is still just an insane package. I mean, it extends. Enchantress is a literal extender if you have a token on the field. Omni Negate for free. Keep this on the field. You can just keep deck thinning with Enchantress and everything. And obviously, you don't want to draw this, but I mean, it's just a free pitch off of Faithful to get Griffin on the field and then start your play.
Get rid of Mystic Mind.
That's it. Just anything that you need going second. Obviously, the right Barum is here as well. Main decking triple Dark Ruler. I mean, in my opinion, there's a lot of arguments against it, obviously, but my opinion is just safer than sorry. And if anything, this just can be a free pitch off of Dragon's Ring.
So you play both board breakers and hand traps.
Mostly hand traps. This is just there just in case I need it. I mean, Swipe puts off almost an indestructible board. So if you just have this, be able to clear their field, and then their next turn they activate their leftover starter, you negate it with like Savage or whatever, and then they just can't play anymore, and then you go to your turn and just keep extending. Just be able to make boards. Triple Chaos Space. Probably top 3 card in the deck, if I'm honest. Literally gets you to your Chaos Baby Engine, which is already insane on its own. It's also a free draw, so it's just an extra card in hand that you might want. Also, hand advantage is always important. Yu-Gi-Oh! It's been important for years.
Yeah.
Triple Quick Launch, not much else to say, but it's literally an E-Telly for rockets. It's also, like everything else in this deck, basically an extender to go through with your plays, make better boards, and also you can play around Dark Ruler with it, with just like the same that you can do with Basil Roshoot. You have to have Hot Red on the field, obviously, to do this, but this combo ends on Hot Red almost every time, just in a regular board. Set this, activate Dark Ruler, activate Quick Launch, and then chain Hot Red, target Dark Ruler 1. And then you get a free body on the field for your inboard being IP Masquerade as well, so you can go into a free Unicorn, or you can wait for the snow to go into a 3-mana Apple.
Yeah.
And then you have another snow. And then we got a bunch of one-ofs. Basil Roshoot, obviously the Reborn for Red Rose. You know, everybody has to play it if they're playing the Red Rose engine. Called by,
Gotta have it.
insane.
Gotta have it.
Always insane. If this card ever comes to 3, I might not play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. Of course, the Blue Sector Launch, also an insane card that you start off Striker Dragon. Summons up to 2 bodies for free, and then going to your turn, if your board's kind of empty and they have like a board or whatever, this can either draw out one of those negates or interruptions, or you can summon up to the amount of monsters they have on the field for free with Rocket Monsters. And then the last card in the deck, Dragon Serene. Pitch a card, send whatever dragon type monster you want. Usually you're going to send Absolrouter to trigger the effect engrave to add a rocket to access your rocket engine. So you just go off the place from there.
How many cards you say in this main?
Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 46 cards.
46.
46 cards. Hefty deck, and a lot of the decks are at 40 right now, but you got to play basically everything in this deck. I mean, there's a couple things that are maybe cuttable and everything, but still. Onto the extra deck, Striker Dragon, obviously.
Gotta have it.
In the time, unfortunately, it's at one, but obviously sometimes with this deck you don't need it more than one. But still an insane card. It's utility as well. You add the boot sector launcher, obviously, and then you can target a rocket engrave and itself, and basically add the rocket back to hand and send this to grave. Pisty, this will be for later on in your play to be able to go into Borland. It's just a free reborn. Can't really say much more than that. Also, it's a Dark Engrave. Both these are Dark Engrave. Next is Haka Fibrax. I don't think anything needs saying about this card. I mean, just summons a tuner for free from deck. Creates your extension for plays that you can extend into boards that are insane. Also, if they impermanent, keep it on the field for the next turn. During their standby phase, you can tag out a Shooting Riser. Shooting Riser effects since Snow or Enchantress if you haven't gone through that engine yet. Usually, if I'm doing that, I go into Enchantress just to send Enchantress just to have extra hand advantage the next turn. Next is Romulus. The only thing you're using this for is to get your Dragon Screen. Also, it's a link to with pretty good arrows. IP Masquerena. Literally, this card slept on, insane card. You can summon Snow from your grave on your opponent's turn, flip their monster, and then go IP effect, and then go into a Unicorn and Appaloosa for 3 if you have if you already Whirlwind negated something because it summons back a rocket, and then you have 2 more banishes with that, or 2 more summons with it. Next is Triple Burst. This card is literally only here just in case that I have to go into a Pisty play where I have to summon this as a Link 3 and then have Pisty to the left of it, be able to summon back to then go into Borland.
Only different opponents.
Next is Appaloosa, Bow the Goddess. Usually you're making this on your opponent's turn with IP, like I said before. I mean, it's just a generic, really good Link 4. I mean,
How many negates you usually have on it, you said?
usually 3. Usually 3. I have done 4 before, but it's like 90% of the time it's 3. Also, Nightmare Unicorn climbs up into Access Code, also as a spin. Generically a great card. Then, of course, the Access Code Talker. Push for games. What more can you say about it? Also pops cards your opponent can respond to it. Now, the MVP of the deck is this card right here, Borland. You want to always end on this guy. Literally free extension. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Cannot be destroyed by card bits. Cannot be targeted by opponent's monster effects. Also, an imperm on the field to summon back a rocket monster that neither player can respond to. And also, just as the cherry on top, it can attack all your opponent's monsters once.
Is that all Dragon Links needed to be better now?
Yeah. And then onto the synchros of the deck, you got Shooting Riser. You're dumping Snow, you're dumping Extension, you're dumping whatever you need. Also, since you're dumping Snow, it becomes a level 4 so that you can use that to link into Striker Dragon or Pisty, which comes up every single time. Then Chaos Ruler, Pega Ruler, obviously summon itself back with Light Dart. Main thing is you mill 5, you get to add a Light Dart, and you get to choose if you want to add it or not. So it's just an insane card, but you want to add, just have hand advantage. Savage. Negates. Yep. Hot Red. Usually what you'll have on the field at this point, at a certain point in your combos, you'll have Rocket Synchron and Chaos Ruler, and then you sync them together, summon this, and then you can Chaos Ruler bring back, and then you can go Borland effect, target your Chaos Ruler to summon back a Rocket, and then link an IP Masquerade and validate your board. And the final card for the extra deck is Baron de Fleur. Insane card, level 10.
Synchro with the game right now.
Literally.
Everyone's playing.
I mean, just like with the sad deck, you sync Red Rose and Griffin off into this, and it's just a free big body that can switch itself out. It can pop cards, Omni Negate. What more can you ask in a level 10 Synchro? Alright, that's the end of the extra deck, 15. Then onto the side deck.
Spice right here.
Running 3 Twin Twister right now. I mean, just back row decks. it's just generically good. It's pop 2, discard 1, all the other stuff. Best thing you can do with this is, or the best like situation you can have with this, Twin Twisters, pitching Absurrouter or Enchantress. With Absurrouter, you search a Rocket. With Enchantress, obviously, you search for your Adventure Engine. The other one is Nib. A lot of people are cutting Nib, but I love it just for the, it kills the Rogue matchup, it kills a lot of the other matchups that you just don't see running around the meta all that much. It's just, it can be a game ender for a lot of other decks.
Not a lot of people are like playing around it anymore anyway.
No, never, exactly.
Gotta stay prepared.
100%. Next, I have in the side Cypher Gear Gamma. Just an insane card all around. Negates, destroys, summons an extra body from deck. Granted, advantage to the end phase, but honestly, at this point, that's also deck thinning, which is really good for your draw.
You have a lot of spells as well that you play before you do anything anyway.
So like the best thing possible is you get like Citrus Effect, they attempt to Ash Blossom it, and then you Gamma, and then you have a free either Halp or free Chaos Ruler on the board. It's insane. The next one is, I'm still running D-Barrier. I'm not running Anti-Spell Fragrance because a lot of this deck's power cards and just a lot of other decks' power cards obviously are spell cards. But because on my turn, my follow-up is usually Faithful Effect, Search Enchantress, Enchantress Effect at Rite of Aramis to get an extra body on the board to be able to push for an OTK. So, but it's also good against Sprite because they're not able to go usually into their on normal combo, go into their XCs. Also, to go into Gigantic Sprite to go into their Frog Engine. So it just gets rid of a negate, it gets rid of a lot of problem because they can also summon blue and use blue's effect if they haven't used it yet. But it's just generically a good card. Also, Tier's running around, so use this on Tier. Obviously, they can't fusion summon, they can't do their plays. Now, last card I'll have to shout out Jeremy McDaniel from in Huntsville, YGO, is Eradication Pandemic Virus. A lot of the cards right now are power spells that they'll sit there and break your board with. Do this in the standby phase, rips Dark Ruler, rips Triple Tax, rips a lot of cards that could really just screw up your board and helps you just, sometimes this is literally just a game ender on its own because I played against Drytron and a lot of their thing is they have a bunch of power spells plus they have Alpha, Zeta, or whatever, and he was just like bragging or whatever, and then I flip this on him, he sends 4 from hand out of 6, and then he goes Alpha Tribute Zeta, I negate it, and then that's it. But the thing that I wanted to change though is I kind of, just because Fluenderese is still a thing and Drytron obviously is still a thing, I kind of want to cut the Gamma in a way and put in Droll and then put a third Virus in just because this card's so powerful going first. And yeah, that's the deck profile.
Man, that's crazy.
Any shout-outs you want to give, bro?
Shout-outs. Huntsville YGO, Huntsville Elite, all that good stuff. Major shout-outs to Jeremy McDaniel for just piloting this deck for so long and then helping me build the deck when I really wanted to be able to play it again after I played Sword Soul. Chase Cawthon, also a bunch of my testing buddies, and just the entire Huntsville YGO for being really good players and teaching me a lot of things I would never have if I didn't go there.
Amen. Well, we appreciate you here for the win, bro. Most definitely.
Congratulations on your first place.
Thank you very much.
First place. Hold it up one time for the camera. Hey, we appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you
Thank you very much.